back to Crystal's Corner. So today I'm going to show you a simple side dish. I love making these because they're so easy and I can pick them up, I can cut them up, I can use them in other recipes, but I absolutely love making this recipe. So it's roasted asparagus. So you're going to need a bundle of asparagus like this. You're going to need olive oil. And olive oil is the preferred oil for this because vegetable oil doesn't help it roast as well. So recommended olive oil, even if it's just a very small bottle, you really don't need a whole lot for this. And I'm going to use nature seasoning, but if you don't have this, you can just use salt and pepper. This is just my go-to seasoning for everything. So the first thing you're going to do is I have a pair of scissors. The rubber bands, you can slide them off, but I found it better if you just cut the top one because it just seems to work better to get it off and keep your bunch intact. I'm going to show you two different ways to determine how long your asparagus stalks will be because there's two different ways to do this. One way is it bends, and where it bends it's going to break, and it's always very well, it'll do it for itself. You don't have to guess, it'll do it for itself. The second way I'll show you is if you really want your stalks to all be the same length, I'll show you how to cut it so that they're all the same length. So the first method I'm going to show you is where it's going to bend and break on its own. So you just hold the stalk like so, and as you bend, it breaks. And then you have your asparagus stalk and your piece that needs to go in the trash. So then you just put it on the tray. That one broke in half, but that's okay, it'll still roast. So that's how you do the bend snap, the snap method. Those will always come out different sizes because the bending breaking point can be different for each piece. So if you don't mind your pieces being different sizes, that's a good way to go because it's really easy. You just bend and snap and move on. It's like almost like peeling snap peas. But if you're one of those that really likes all of your stuff to be the same length, the same everything, this is the method I'll show you how to do. And notice I left the bottom rubber band on. I left this on so that when I go to cut it, I can just move this down to where I want to the length that I want to cut off. You don't want to cut a whole lot off because it's all good for you to eat, but you want to cut the ends like this off because this is where it was harvested, and this is how you know you can see where it's like you've got some that are already cut off and things like that. So that's just the best thing to tell you is that this part has to come off from where you purchased it at the grocery store. So I've put this where I want it, and yeah, it looks like I'm going to cut off a lot, but I'm really not. You'll be surprised at how these still are fairly large. So I'm going to cut right below the rubber band, and when I do, it's just one swift cut, and they're going everywhere. So, and once that's done, you can see the difference. If I can quit dropping things, you can see the difference in the color of the stalk compared to what you had that was on the bottom. So then you're just going to take them and you're going to lay them on your cookie sheet. This is the best method to cook them, to roast them, because it just doesn't make any sense to roast them any other way. You're going to get them in a single layer. So however you layer them out, sometimes I roll them, sometimes I just place them in a single row. But you want them to kind of not be on top of each other, because if they're on top of each other, they won't roast. So once you've kind of got them like so, you're going to take your olive oil, and this one kind of has a big hole on it, unlike some bottles. So I'm actually going to use my thumb to cover this so it doesn't come out so fast. And you're just going to do, if I can get it to stay, you're just going to do a little drizzle over all of them. You don't want a whole lot. And once you do that, then you're going to take your seasoning, again, salt, pepper, whatever your taste is. Some people can do garlic. You know, it's preferable to your taste. Then you're just going to kind of sprinkle it all over the asparagus. It looks like a lot, but what I'm about to do will explain why it looks like a lot. So once you do that, once you've got them oiled up and you've got the seasoning on, you're actually going to take your hands and you're going to scoop them around and you're going to roll them until they're all covered in the oil and the seasoning, and they'll all be kind of shiny like they are now. And then you're going to put them back in a little row. My broken piece, but it's still okay. It still will roast just fine. And then once that's done, I'm gonna, I'll wash my hands, but you'll just stick it straight in the oven. The oven is at 350, and you'll roast them for about 10-12 minutes. You want to check. You don't want the ends here to get really burnt. It's okay if they turn a little brown, because that's good. You want the stalks to be bright green. That's where the nutrients come from, is because you keep it bright green. So I'm going to put these in the oven. I'm going to clean up and wash my hands, and when I come back, I'll show you how the outcome of the product. I'm about to pull the asparagus out because I know that I can actually smell it. You can actually smell it when I'm done. So this is what they look like. As you can see, they're still pretty green. You have a little bit of color on the tips. That's what they're supposed to look like. So I'm going to let them cool. But before they cool, I'm actually going to take this little piece here that's on the end that doesn't have a top. And as you can see, the little green parts that I showed you that were really, really bright green have also kind of gone a little white, but that's because they were cooked and the color stays pretty good there. So I'm going to make sure these are good and like they're supposed to be. They are. You want them a little crunchy because it lets you know you cooked them to just the right point. If they're mushy, you've cooked them too long, and if they're too crunchy, you haven't cooked them enough. But the biggest key for you to remember is if you see these things here on the top, the spears, some of them will start to spike out like you see here, and some of them will turn a little brown. And that's how you always know that you've cooked them to the right consistency. So I hope you guys will try this, maybe over the holidays, maybe just for dinner one night, and let me know how it turns out. This will be posted to my website and my blog, so if you follow either one, you'll certainly see this recipe within the next week or so. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody, and I'll see you after the first of the year.